Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world. You are streaming here on Twitter as well as on Twitch and YouTube. Oh, God. Got to get all these devices up and going. It's a Monday. It must be a Monday. Must be 3:15 on a Monday because here we are. Another safe space with Bob. No games on anymore. Not till Thursday. What are we going to do with ourselves? It's really going to put this style of show to the test. How bored are you? That is the design. What's happening, people? I'll allow you a couple minutes to hop up in here in the chat. If you click the say something button at the bottom of your device, you will be able to join us. Feel free to drop into the chat anything that's on your mind. I'll be here for the next 30 to 45 minutes. What's up, special friend? What's up, bro? Did I get my TP? I did get my TP. I did end up paying $6.50, but I got 6 rolls in there, one of those double rolls too. So it's supposed to be like 12 rolls for $6. Amazon is just such a ridiculous company. They had that shit at my door within 16 hours. Man, didn't used to be like that. I was a big eBay user back in the day. I still use eBay because everything's cheaper on there. If you don't have any urgency in receiving your package, you'll always find a better price on eBay, I find. We Talk Sports says, learn some history. Who are you talking to? Not me. Not I, Mr. World War II. I've been watching documentaries all day and all night now that I got the time. I'm back to my happy place. World War II history. Cooking meats, just like Tony Soprano. Have I been watching Roland Garros at all? Feel like you'd be enjoying. I do. I enjoy the women's game more than the men's game, even though the Shelton versus Alcaraz. Men's game takes too long. Sorry. Takes too long. Too many sets. 5's too many in a major. Too many aces because these guys are just so good and powerful. I like long rallies. The women's game is much better for rallies, and it's only 3 sets too. And Sabalenka is my girl. I love Sabalenka. I could watch Sabalenka anytime, any place. Speaking of, do I need to bring ProfitX into this? Speaking of Sabalenka, what? Since we don't have any basketball to bet on tonight, Sabalenka minus 4.5 games against Zhang. Well, minus 275. I mean, the only reason why that number is not bigger is because we're on clay. The power forehand gets a little nullified on clay. Do you guys find it? You guys that play tennis in the chat, do you prefer playing on grass, hard court, or clay? I feel like clay is probably the least strenuous on your joints and your knees. Hard court, you're planting, but you can hit the ball harder. You don't slide as much. Is sliding better for you? I don't know. These are the questions I think about. Is Tibbs Barber in the hot seat? Oh, because you're implying that Tibbs. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Tibbs, guys. I really don't. It could go either way. I'd probably prefer to keep him, but it's just the NBA, man. I watched Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone get fired in the final 2 weeks of the season. Mike Brown, because De'Aaron Fox forgot to close out on Jay Ivey, practically got fired. Like, coaches have been fired for a lot less than making the Eastern Conference Finals. It just depends. I mean, this is also the CAA mafia we're talking about. So if you're going to fire Tom Thibodeau, they're going to have to rip who's left, Michael Malone and Jay Wright. Those are 2 CAA guys. Has to stay within the CAA network. And I don't see Leon Rose represented Karl Anthony Towns right before he became president of basketball operations for the Knicks, so that trade doesn't seem likely. The only name that I'm ever considering is Giannis, but I don't want to go down this road because you're going to tear apart everything that made them great. The Pacers just happen to be the Knicks' version of the Denver Nuggets with the Timberwolves. The way that they're constructed, the way that they play, the Knicks, that's the team they won't be able to beat. And I don't think you can change the entire direction of your franchise just around one other opponent. Thoughts on the Jazz hiring Ainge? I mean, we know what the last name is, but this was a really good litmus test of figuring out who actually knows ball and who doesn't. How much Austin Ainge has contributed to that front office there in Boston, coaching the G League team, responsible for a lot of their draft picks. He has been around a long time, and it only makes sense that he gets a promotion there in Utah with president of basketball operations, up from assistant general manager. Is that a pretty significant leap that we're not accustomed to? Yeah, but this isn't someone who's just getting the job because of their last name. That dude has put in. I've seen him at Summer League for like the last. Gosh, I've been going to Summer League since 2014. I feel like he's been there doing something with the team since then. He's been around the league a really long time. So you have to think that all those draft picks that he was able to navigate throughout his days in Boston and assemble that championship team, that hopefully one day he could replicate that in Utah. Doesn't help when you have the worst record and you end up falling as low as possible in the draft, but how about them Tar Heels? Luka in the portal. Wait, Andrew, you're gonna have to catch me up to speed on what the. I don't really keep up with the portal stuff because it's even crazier than like transfer window in European football. Did the Knicks get Did the Tar Heels get somebody good? And by the way, with the baseball thing, like until it's Omaha, I'm not paying attention to it. I once watched a Carolina team with Matt Harvey, Daniel Bard, Andrew Miller not win. So eBay is great for older jerseys. That's fact. It's an online Canal Street. How do I choose my toilet paper? Consistency and preferences. I go with the cheapest brand. I don't even know what the difference is. I know some paper is probably supposed to be more cushiony, comfy than other brands, but it just never mattered to me. I guess my butt palate is the same as my wine palate. Like, wine tastes this. There's some really shitty wines that I could pick out. That's bad wine, but most wines, I'm like, that's a $5,000 bottle of wine. Tastes like the $15 bottle of wine. To me, I'm so unrefined. I am not in the finer things club. Lastly, how often do I fold Jack's pre-flop? You don't want to talk to me. I got it in good 80% in Omaha, and I got sucked out on for a couple grand. I can't. Poker is just so humbling. You can do everything right and just lose. I don't like doing that anymore. Carter says the callers on Sirius today were on one. My God. Everyone's got opinions on what the Knicks should do. Did we hear a single caller that made sense? Now, it's not that that's a bad thing, because what it does is when they're done speaking, it drives the conversation for Antonio and I. So that's why we like to take a lot of calls on our show, because sometimes they are thought starters. But today, man, we really had to go outside the box. Am I all in on Anthony Richardson? I don't know what that is. What's with these Knicks pages tweeting about something huge brewing? I don't know who these. Anything that's like any NBA Twitter account, I promise you, is not worth your time. The big news, they're probably just guessing that Thibodeau's going to get fired. It probably they have a friend that works at CAA or an agency that's the Knicks are on the verge of making a change in the coaching staff, so they're just getting ahead of it so they can say that they were right. They don't have any info, trust me. I get all the CAA info too. I would tell you if there was something coming. I haven't heard shit. Um, I played fat and slap serves and forehands. Okay. Coaches usually are the sacrifice when things go wrong. Usually? Usually? How about every time? Yeah, well, the thing with the Knicks, I understand Brunson and Cat are minus EV defenders. And then part of the reason why they have to go into drop coverage so much is out of necessity more than preference. And that will affect the rest of the team. But if the Knicks are able to solve the players talked about it all year, and then you got Deuce McBride alluding to it in his exit interview with this team just couldn't get over its biggest liabilities, which was defending the perimeter. And the Pacers scored 5 buckets off of made Knicks scores. They scored 5 fast break buckets off of Knicks makes in game 6. It's just a defense which is not prepared for the speed, and they are deserving Eastern Conference champions. I mean, it was like the Knicks scored finally. They can barely get the ball across half court before the 8-second violation. Jalen Brunson does something ridiculous. Cat has a tough finish at the rim, and the Pacers are down the floor and scoring immediately because Cat is picking himself up off the floor. Did you guys see that about 9-minute mark in the fourth quarter? Karl-Anthony Towns had a tough finish at the rim, and he fell over into like photographer row. And then you can see the entire Indiana bench and coaching staff stand up, point at him, and say, "Go, go, 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 go." They played 5-on-4 basketball for 7 seconds. And I don't even remember if it ended up being a bucket or not, but it just doesn't matter. That's what they do. I prefer paddle than tennis at this point. All of you pickleball, paddle, why you're just looking for reasons not to play tennis. Just play tennis. God. Is it paddle or PAD? The one with the bouncy ball that comes off like the wall behind you and you're playing in a cube. Is that paddle? Tennis and racquetball. The game of the gods. Okay? Tennis and racquetball. No squash. No paddle. No pickleball. Tennis and racquetball. Those 2 are the ones that you should learn. Get your golf game up. You're going to need that at some point in your when you go to work and you have to do business deals. You better know how to play golf. Have a golf swing. Know your country club sports. There will be a time where you make or break your career at a golf course or on a tennis court. Promise you that. Luka Bagovic from one of the Eastern European countries going to be crucial for our 3-2 spots. Another shooter and creator for himself since my Horned Frogs folded like bad hands. Okay, one step closer to Omaha. I don't even want to hear the word Omaha anymore because I lost playing Omaha this weekend. Does Brunson need another PG to play with and a new coach? I'm not opposed to here's the problem is my proposals for the Knicks because of their cap space problem right now. They're hovering around what, 200 million. So they're not going to be able to sign anybody that's not already on the roster. But if you're going to have to convince Al Horford to not retire, come play with Karl-Anthony Towns. You have that Rasheed Wallace role from the team in 2013 where you play between 10 and 15 minutes a night. You spell Cat. You give them a little bit more versatility on the perimeter defensively. And then you have an additional Embiid stopper if you end up playing Philadelphia at some point in the playoffs. But he'll be cheap. But you have to pay him enough money to convince him not to retire. Chris Paul, get him on the cheap, I assume. Come back up, Jalen Brunson. The Knicks need a table center at some point. off that bench if it's not going to be Jalen Brunson running 40+ minutes. The problem is you're just getting older and older as the Pacers get faster and faster. That's kind of the dichotomy here, right? WJRS, how long was my grieving process when the Knicks lost? Guys, when I was a kid, I'd be upset, pissed, stomping around, throwing tantrums, but you get to 37, most things in life you're apathetic towards. You just stop caring. And it's not that I don't care about the Knicks, but I didn't lose a minute of sleep. We lost to a better team. I thought we played so well as possible. And we lost to a style that we're not able to adapt to 4 out of 7 times. If we lost on some fluke shit, like the Halliburton thing happened, the game 1 off the back of the rim going through the hoop, if that happened in a game 6, I'd be pissed. But getting beat, getting the floor wiped with you in the open floor in transition is not something that tilts me. What's up with my arm? I've been watching your post-game videos for a couple of years now. You're talking about this arm or this arm? I don't see any difference. They both work great. This is just my body. Do you not have this on your body? Thoughts on Operation Spiderweb? Is that what the Ukrainians just did with the drone attack over the weekend? Was that what it's called? That shit was crazy, by the way. How many people actually watch the news? They probably have no clue what the hell is happening in the rest of the world. All they care about is these fucking SpongeBob memes and where Giannis is getting traded. Stay in the Matrix, trust me. The Matrix, your little happy place. But yeah, blowing up all those planes is nuts. What are you guys betting on tonight, by the way? Got to give a shout out to our partners at ProfitX who have been with us all season long. What did you guys bet on in the series before I keep going with these questions? What did you guys bet on? Have you seen the number? You guys seen the number for the series? This is for the game. This is for game 1. 9.5. It's usually game 1 spread is usually indicative of what the series is going to look like. Wait, do they not have the series price on here? Come on. Come on, NBA futures. Championship winner. Here we go. Oklahoma City minus 600. 600 means if you bet $10 on the Pacers, you're getting paid 54. 64 total. Holy Christ. That is as big of a favorite as I've seen since the Golden State Warriors. No, that's not true. It's got, what was it? Denver versus Miami. That had to be up past 600. But considering the Pacers and what they look like, them being 5.5 to 1 underdogs is nuts, man. Nuts. OKC is going to win this series in 5, but what's the best way to go about this? Is it better? See, I was looking to steal Shea's MVP price because that's usually the shortcut. Is instead of betting the team to win the series, bet the best player on an MVP on a little bit of a discount. It's usually going to happen unless there's like a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum situation. Well, you can bet Halliburton no. Oh, that's interesting because Siakam got conference finals MVP. Do you guys think that Halliburton thought he won? That's why he stepped out. I wish that video lasted a little longer. Let's keep going here. Sorry. Has Brunson ever been asked by anyone in the media about the headbutt? What? You're talking about the thing with Nembhard? I mean, guys, I was like barely a headbutt in super slow motion. Yeah, I didn't love. Well, I have a personal dislike of Reggie Miller from my own childhood, but I didn't love seeing him out there with the conference finals trophy. You're supposed to take you seriously as an objective, unbiased announcer. When am I going to get the copy t-shirts made? Not sure. Copy. Next round. It takes the designer for the shirts takes a while. Did I have more fun watching the 2024, 2025 this year for sure? Last year was never a championship worthy team. This year it was. But the addition of Cat raises the ceiling big time. I don't want to hear anything about him being bad. Not like, man, how good he was, how dominant he was offensively. We never had anything close to that in the front court, including Julius Randle can perform like this. That dude is a special offensive talent. He's got his liabilities on defense and getting into foul trouble, but that stuff feels a lot more solvable than if you don't have someone who raises your offensive ceiling and you're kind of stuck in the second round forever because you just don't have guys good enough. That is no longer the case. Have I ever hit a hole in one? Believe it or not, I have. It's actually, have I told the story about my hole in one? Because I played golf my entire life. I was unfortunately never good enough to make D1. But I was competitive for majorities, and I ended up caddying summer that I was staying at on the Jersey Shore in Manasquan, New Jersey. I was living in the war zone in one of those share houses. It's like a 24-year-old, 25-year-old. Was that? Yeah, I was about 24. And I was caddying up at Trump National Golf Course in Colts Neck, New Jersey. And one of the members that I went out with was famous for taking the caddies and offering a closest to the pin competition that he would give out like an $100 bonus tip to whichever caddy in the group could get closest to the pin. And it was on that day that I hit a hole in one on the 16th hole. I think that was a par 3. Yeah, number 16. 15 or 16 at Trump National and Colts Neck. And I just stepped up in my caddy bib, just drained it. Just fucking drained it. And I was like, I'll take that tip, please. I'll take that bonus. I think I won. The problem is I had to take that bonus and go buy drinks with it. You know, I got it too close. That was the one time I hadn't warmed up. I took a practice swing, stepped up, and just stuck it. Crazy, man. And I don't even play golf that much anymore. I hadn't at the time either. I could count the number of times that I've played golf since college on 2 hands and 2 feet, probably. Celtics were favored by the same over the Knicks. Oh, you're saying the finals here? Let's see. Oh, that's NHL. Who's winning the Stanley Cup? More importantly, that'll be a lot closer than this finals. I've got OKC in 5, and it'll go exactly 3-0. Pacers win game 4. They avoid the shame of the sweep. And then game 5 back in OKC and celebrating in front of the home crowd. And I need, by the way, God, how do I bet that though? Because I'm not laying 600 on OKC. Sorry. I am not laying 600 on OKC. I refuse. Maybe Pacers steal game 1 and you can come back on OKC after. How about that? Let me clarify something. I am so tired of seeing the term gentleman's sweep used incorrectly. A gentleman's sweep is not any 4-1 finish. A gentleman's sweep is a 3-0 series start in which you permit your opposition out of mercy to win game 4 so you don't embarrass them. Then you come back home and win game 5 on your home floor. It has to be 3-0, 3-1, 4-1. That's a gentleman's sweep. I can't speak. Yeah, Halliburton should have given his own choke sign. To his credit, though, Halliburton went to the choke in game 1. Definitely premature. He wears all black to game 6. Then he does the Brunson this. And he backed it up. So Nothing better than a villain that's worthy of the villainy. NBC's very own Carmelo Anthony better give the trophy next year to Brunson. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Unbiased against the Pacers too. Reggie Miller did it last year. Here is our unbiased, objective uh, commentary, analyst, Carmelo Anthony. Game 7 tonight. Let's go. Oh. What else you guys got? Wayne says the Pacers' physicality is going to be brutal on OKC, though. Gentlemen's sweep. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the Pacers is what got them here obviously works incredibly well. They're going up against the one team that does what they do, and they do it better. There certainly will be score differential volatility in the finals. Like both teams can be up by 20 at some point with the pace of play and how much is going to be played in the open court. There's going to be a shit ton of like 7-0 runs. A lot of those. A ton of 7-0 runs. My big bold prediction is this will be the fastest paced finals ever since pace is being tracked, I assume, since the play-by-play era. This will be 110 plus possessions per game. Which is a lot. A lot. Nembhard versus Caruso's defense is going to look like a football match. Yeah, I do think they're going to permit a lot of physicality, especially since we have some of these veteran officials with finals experience. That Nesmith, Nembhard, Caruso, Dort, they're going to be able to grab. They're going to be able to hip check. They're going to get away with forearms to the back. And I'm also interested to see how the Pacers deal with a little bit of their own medicine. They are trained and they have the endurance to be pressing Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges 94 feet. But what happens when it's done to them? Can they still exert that influence defensively if it's happening to them as well? Because OKC is as deep, if not deeper, and they're younger. Their defenders are better. They check every box. And certainly the slower type of style does not work against Oklahoma City. We saw that with Minnesota. Pacers are in trouble. Anyone, if the Knicks came out of the East, they were going to get swept. Maybe that's part of the reason why. I got asked the question earlier, what's my grieving process been like? Man, even if it would have been nice to beat the Pacers because they're probably our biggest rivals. But then it would have settled in like, oh boy, we're about to get swept. The Knicks absolutely swept in the finals by OKC. They would have competed well against Minnesota, but OKC would run them out of the gym, just like they did in the regular season twice. Those were two of the most embarrassing games. How long is that Jarace Walker injury? Did we get an official diagnosis? That did not look good. They have, they can put Jarace Walker on the floor, and then they put Ben Shepherd. Then it's Benedict Mathurin. They just have so many guys that play double-digit minutes, and that's what makes the Pacers so formidable. Their ability to just seamlessly replace positions 1 through 5 out there, even without Isaiah Jackson, Miles Turner is able to be spelled by Thomas Bryant and Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley gets hurt. Thomas Bryant steps on the floor and starts drilling threes. What is NBA specials? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to win 2020. Oh, wait, 500. That's a discount. That's what I was talking about, guys. See this? Because the series is, 600? If they win the finals, it's going to be because Shai was MVP. J-Dub is not winning finals MVP. I'm sorry. I guess you have to hedge against injury here, but that's the number I was looking for. Look, minus 500 to win MVP, and then you go to NBA futures OKC minus 600. Yeah, that's about right. Wait, why did it just change to 640? What the hell? You guys see this? NBA Finals MVP minus 640. And then you go to NBA Specials, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 2025 Finals MVP. Well, that's the same bet, but it costs 140 less. So we're obviously betting that. Give me 25 bucks. No, give me 50 bucks. Give me 25 bucks. Okay. There we go. We got some action in. I did bet the Los Angeles Angels tonight, by the way, if anybody cares. Plus 134. Oh, I got plus, yeah. I got like plus 132. If anybody cares. Feel free to sweat with me. I'll be watching that in a little bit after we sign off. Since when was Thomas Bryant a shooter? Man, the corner three, and he just steps onto the floor after not playing in this series. That's what they do. They're always ready to play, man. It's part of that experience throughout the regular season. Those guys getting significant minutes. They never feel like me on the bench, pointing to themselves. Me? Well, I'm going in there. Can you imagine if Pacome Dadier? Imagine if Pacome Dadier was like, hey, get in there. Deer in the headlights. That was not the case. Every Indiana Pacer is ready to go. Wait, Prophet X in the chat is saying, hey, Wop, refresh and go check out the NBA specials. I just added a special for you. Really? That intrigues me. NBA specials. NBA Finals game to go to overtime. Shai to score 25 plus. Was that what you were referring to? To win Finals MVP? Or am I missing something else? Let me know. Which one did you add? Any NBA Finals game to go to overtime? I would definitely bang the no on that one. Anybody want to take my action? We need some liquidity in this market. I'll definitely take minus 180 no on overtime games. Here's 20 bucks at minus 180. See if anyone anybody out there is interested. All right. Where were we? Chat. Oh, refresh the page, they said. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Oh, WAP special. OKC Thunder to win the finals in exactly 5 games. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, thanks for adding that. Here, let me put myself down here for a second. There's a WAB special on the site right now. OKC Thunder to win NBA Finals. Minus 300. Yes, plus 210. Why is that so chop-choppy? You trying to bait me? Why is that so chop-choppy? Prophet X, give me a better number than plus 210. Give me like plus 240. That's choppy. Just because you post it doesn't mean I can't negotiate. I'll come back. Okay, where were we? Wayne says, I hate watching games I bet on. I can't enjoy the game. I'm too stressed out. You can also do emotional hedges. That's what Prophet X is good for. So if your favorite team, for example, is the Knicks, like I bet on the Pacers in game 6, just enough to be able to monetize. You're either going to be happy because your team won, or you'll be just a little happy because you won a bit of money to hedge off the emotional loss of your favorite team's season being eliminated. You bet with your brain, you root with your heart. So emotional hedges, you'll always come out with something. Shea total rebounds leader for the finals? No, I'm not interested in that one. Are you trying to replicate? You remember when I bet Andrew Wiggins at 52 to 1? That was the biggest hit of my life. Oh my God. Andrew Wiggins, 2022 finals rebounding leader. And it came down to that final game 6 where they took everyone off the floor, but either it was, they took everyone off the floor, but Al Horford. And Al Horford was just getting every rebound. And I had like a 5 rebound lead going into the 4th. I was sweating balls, and it was a blowout. Oh my God. Okay. What did I squeeze out of ProfitX? Did I just get you guys for a plus 230? Oh, okay. Fine. Fine. You got me. Sold. Here, $10. OKC to win in exactly 5 games at plus 230. Let me get this bet in. Easiest $23 of my life. Okay, I'm in. Thanks, ProfitX. All right. Also, use code WAB if you're going to sign up. It makes us all look good. We keep doing these shows through next year. If you guys just sign up for the site, you can take your time in investing in sports if you're not comfortable with it, but signing up for the website and using code WAB will go a long way. Thank you. Okay. Carter says, I'm not a huge fan of Reggie as a commentator, but people saying he was being a homer on the call during the series is just not true. Boy, do I agree with that. I never once felt like Reggie was allowing we know who he's rooting for. The same way I can speak about the New York Knicks on a national radio show. You don't have to be like super diehard, home broadcast type of. No, there's a time and place for that. And I agree that he was during the game. I thought he gave decent analysis of what was transpiring in front of you without ever thinking. If you didn't know who that voice was, you would have never been like, man, this guy is really biased towards the Pacers. It was not like that whatsoever. It's just Reggie, and we know that's enough in the back of our minds of those of us that know too much that you know who he's secretly rooting for when he's standing up there presenting the trophy. Plenty of things to get mad about with Reggie, but I don't think that's one of them. ESPN's not going to change the style of Inside the NBA front office sports, just reported. I will when I see it. I will believe it when I see it. There's a certain on-air personality and with knowledge of the move over who will go unnamed, who I conversed with yesterday. Shortly after I published that tweet, I knew I was going to get so many calls from people. I got 2 texts and calls one from an executive and 2 from talent. And the moment I press publish on those sports media tweets, I always get someone that needs to like clarify or like give their take on it. But anyways, they're gonna have like 40. Hold on, no, that's not right. They're only on the books for like 25 shows next year. And that includes the pregame, halftime, and postgame. So it's going to be sporadic. It's going to be on random days after like normal hours too. On some weekend games on ABC, the showcase games are going to get them. All the big games they'll be there for, but it won't be the same cadence as every Thursday. And, they're just fucking around at 1 a.m. doing Nino stat of the night where they're attempting different internet challenges and stuff. I don't know if that's going to be there. If the game runs late, if it goes into overtime and ESPN's got to show you a college football or basketball game or something, what happens to it then? What happens when Chuck is throwing ESPN under the bus and making fun of the mouse? Like, all it takes is one of those guys losing their mojo, and it'll be contagious to the rest of the crew. I'm setting the over-under right now on Inside the NBA dying on ESPN within 2 years. 2 years, they're done. Yeah, 2 years. There's not a chance. There's too many chefs in the kitchen. Those executives are notorious at ESPN and Disney for slitting each other's throats with separate agendas and initiatives that benefit them. And when you have that many chefs in the kitchen, it's really hard to make a show work, especially at a network that size. They will be on air. I don't know if it'll be as good, but it won't last. It will not last. And I don't think you'll get the same quality of post game with time constraints. They need at least an hour. They need to riff on hoops for like 30 minutes, and then they start to transition to the viral video stuff and the challenges and all that makes it, the fun variety show that it is. Can you use ProfitX in California? Yes, I'm on ProfitX in California right now, as a matter of fact. Sign up using code WOB, Hot Guy Party. Appreciate you. Which tweet am I referring to? I published it yesterday. It's on my timeline. Yeah, they can say that nothing's going to change about inside the NBA, and there'll be a honeymoon period as well. There will be a honeymoon period where the first couple shows are all like, "Oh, this is just nothing's really changed that much." But man, like, what are they doing with the SVP show after the games? That's supposed to be their flagship post game. There's appearances built into SVP's contract and all the production staff there. It's just not as easy as people try and make it sound, especially when there's that much red tape to cut through. All those different chefs in the kitchen. I've experienced it, but I'm telling you, they only have to do 25 shows for ESPN. That is not a lot. I think they possibly do more, but I think that's where the bar is set. Who knows? All right, people. Well, it's been a pleasure. 4 p.m. here on the West Coast. My time here is expired. We'll be back on Wednesday, same time, same place. I think we'll have a little bit more. We'll start picking out the props for game one. That's what we'll do on Wednesday. Yeah, player props for game one. Because, man, is it going to be hard to bet this series when OKC is laying such a big number? The only time that you can bet Oklahoma City without giving 9 points out is going to be game 3. That's probably when the Pacers have their best game of the series. What am I doing to dedicate my time to now that the NBA is ending? I get back to normal life. I'm going to go make some burritos. I'm going to watch some baseball. I play tennis a lot more. I go to the beach. Hopefully not play poker. I'm going to be traveling once the season ends extensively. I'm on like a teacher schedule. But from all the shows that I do, for the last 2 months, I've been streaming from 10 a.m. Pacific time through 10 p.m. Pacific time with 1 or 2 hours off, because I don't consider the hours off where I have to be watching the game, because then you're talking about it in the post-game show. So that's a good question. I may join a boat club. I might join a boat club. The beautiful part about the boat club is I don't have to own the boat. You can rent the boat for a flat yearly fee. They give you a captain's license and all this good stuff. And then you just pay for gas. So you can show up, rent the boat, take it out, drop it off. If it breaks, it sinks. You don't really, it's not your problem. All right, friends, I'm going to bounce, but let's look forward to Wednesday. And I think we'll spend that time in picking out some over-unders with prop bets, player prop bets for game one of the finals. Do that on ProfitX as always. been a pleasure, my friends. How much do they charge at the boat club? I think it's a couple thousand. I'm gonna have to go find out, and I'll let you know. See you later, guys.